Hey there, little giggle buddies. Welcome to Simple Stories, Smart Kids, where the animals talk, the eggs shine, and the lessons sparkle. Today's tale is all about a very special goose who lays golden eggs. But uh-oh, some humans get a little too greedy. Let's find out what happens in The Goose That Laid the Golden Eggs. Once upon a time, in a cozy little village nestled between rolling hills and sparkling streams, there lived a farmer named Gus. Now, Gus was not your ordinary farmer. He was a bit of a daydreamer, often lost in thoughts of grand adventures and marvelous treasures. His farm was a patchwork of fields, with corn that grew taller than his barn, and tomatoes so big they could practically win a beauty contest. But despite all this bounty, Gus was always hoping for something more, something extraordinary that would change his life forever. One sunny morning, as Gus trudged through his fields, he stumbled upon a peculiar sight. There, in the middle of his cornfield, was a goose. But this wasn't just any goose. No, this goose was a dazzling shade of gold, shimmering like the sun itself. Gus rubbed his eyes, thinking he must be dreaming. "Is that a goose or a golden statue?" he muttered to himself, scratching his head. The goose waddled over, honking cheerfully, as if it were saying, "Hello, Gus, I've been waiting for you." Gus was taken aback. Was this goose talking to him? Surely, he had spent too much time in the sun. But the goose had a twinkle in its eye that made Gus believe it might be real. With a heart full of curiosity, Gus approached the golden goose. Excuse me, but are you really a goose? A golden goose, no less?" The goose nodded, fluffing its golden feathers. "Indeed, I am, and I have a special talent that you might find quite interesting." Gus's eyes widened. "What kind of talent?" The golden goose cleared its throat dramatically. "I lay golden eggs!" Gus nearly fell over in disbelief. "Golden eggs? Like the ones that make you rich?" "Exactly!" the goose honked proudly. "Every day, I lay one golden egg. Just think of the possibilities. You could be the richest farmer in the land." Gus could hardly contain his excitement. He imagined himself lounging in a hammock made of dollar bills, sipping lemonade while the other farmers looked on with envy. "This is amazing. You can come live with me on my farm." And so, the golden goose moved into Gus's barn, which had been home to a few chickens and a rather grumpy old goat named Gerald. Gerald was not impressed by the newcomer. "What's so special about a goose? You think you're better than us just because you shine?" He snorted, chewing on a piece of hay. The golden goose simply honked and continued to lay its golden eggs. Every morning, Gus would rush to the barn, and there it would be, a beautiful, gleaming golden egg. He could hardly believe his luck. He sold the eggs at the market, and soon enough, he was rolling in riches. He bought new tools, planted more crops, and even treated himself to a shiny new tractor, which he named Bessie. But as the days turned into weeks, Gus began to change. He became a little less friendly and a lot more focused on his newfound wealth. Instead of chatting with his neighbors, he spent all his time counting his golden eggs. He even started wearing a crown made of eggshells, which, let me tell you, was not the most fashionable choice. One day, while Gus was admiring his collection of golden eggs, Gerald the goat approached him. "Gus, my friend, you seem a bit obsessed with those eggs. Have you considered that maybe, just maybe, you should enjoy life a little more?" Gus waved his hand dismissively. "Oh, Gerald, you wouldn't understand. These eggs are my ticket to greatness. I'm going to be the richest man in the village." Gerald sighed. "But at what cost? You're missing out on the simple joys of life. Remember when we used to have fun? You used to tell stories, go on adventures. Now you just sit here counting eggs." Gus chuckled, but deep down, he knew Gerald had a point. He had become so focused on his riches that he had forgotten what it meant to truly enjoy life. That night, as he lay in bed, Gus couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. He glanced at the golden goose, who was peacefully sleeping in the corner of the barn, and an idea struck him. What if I took all the eggs and turned them into something even more special? What if I created a golden egg festival? Everyone in the village could come, and we could have games, food, and fun. Excited by this thought, Gus jumped out of bed and began planning the festival. He would invite everyone, and it would be the grandest celebration ever. The next morning, Gus rushed to the barn, ready to tell the golden goose about his brilliant idea. But as he opened the door, he was met with an empty nest. The golden goose was gone. Panic set in. "Where could she be?" he cried, frantically searching the barn. Just then, he heard a soft honking sound from outside. Gus dashed out and found the golden goose waddling around the farm, seemingly looking for something. "What are you doing?" he asked out of breath. "I'm just taking a stroll," said the goose, flapping its golden wings. "Sometimes a goose needs a little fresh air, you know." Gus sighed in relief. "I thought I lost you. I have a fantastic idea. I want to throw a festival to celebrate you and your golden eggs." The goose tilted its head, intrigued. "A festival? That sounds delightful. But remember, it's not just about the eggs. It's about bringing people together and having fun." With the goose's encouragement, Gus started planning the festival. He decorated the farm with colorful banners, set up games like Pin the Beak on the Goose, and even organized a pie-eating contest. The villagers were buzzing with excitement, and word spread like wildfire. Finally, the day of the festival arrived. The sun was shining, and the air was filled with laughter and the delicious smell of baked goods. People from all over the village came, eager to join in the festivities. Gus stood proudly by the golden goose, who was the star of the show. As the games began, Gus realized how much he had missed the joy of being with his friends and neighbors. He laughed as he watched the villagers compete in the pie-eating contest, and he even joined in a three-legged race, which ended in a spectacular tumble that sent him rolling in the grass. As evening fell, the villagers gathered around to watch a talent show. Gus stood up, feeling a bit shy, but he remembered the goose's words. It's not just about the eggs. So he took a deep breath and shared a story about his adventures on the farm, complete with silly impressions of Gerald the goat. The crowd erupted in laughter, and Gus felt a warmth in his heart that he hadn't felt in ages. At the end of the night, as the stars twinkled above, Gus looked around at the smiling faces of his friends and neighbors. The golden goose waddled over and nudged him gently. "See? This is what it's all about. It's not just about the golden eggs. It's about the golden moments we share together." Gus grinned, realizing that the goose was right. From that day on, he cherished not just the golden eggs, but also the friendships and laughter that filled his life. And while he continued to sell the golden eggs, he always made time for fun, games, and the simple joys that made life truly rich. And so the farmer who once dreamed of riches learned that the greatest treasure of all was the happiness he found in sharing his life with others. And the golden goose? Well, she became the honorary guest at every festival, reminding everyone that sometimes the most valuable things in life are not things at all, but the laughter and love we share with those around us. And they all lived happily ever after, with plenty of golden eggs and even more golden memories. So kids, what did we learn? Don't let greed ruin the good things you already have. Sometimes, slow and steady golden eggs are better than one big shiny disappointment. If you had fun with this silly story, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to Simple Stories, Smart Kids, and share it with your golden-hearted friends. See you next time for more magical tales and giggle-loaded lessons.